I lived in what I consider a pivotal time. My name is Shaun Johnson, Christopher Shaun Johnson, according to the records. I am a long-term resident, local resident of Benzonia, and I say local because I'm not a native. I was born in North Carolina, 1954. 1958, my parents moved to Honor, Michigan. My little brother, Timmy, is 4 years younger than me, and he calls it that he grew up in perfect sync with the Wonder Years. I don't know if you've ever heard of the show The Wonder Years. It came out and was on for a good 10 or 15 years. It followed a young kid, a student from middle school through high school. And it was the same exact time period that my younger brother Tim was a middle school through high school student. And I say the Wonder Years because when I grew up, we had recreation programs in the summer. We had all summer long we're playing with the recreation program. All winter long we're either skiing, skating, or sledding. And I look at kids nowadays and I go, how is it that we were so limited back then, but we had so much more fun? You know, growing up here was really different. It really was like growing up in the Wonder Years. The real trick was, I don't know as a parent nowadays whether I'd be comfortable doing it, but my parents had no problem with us jumping on a bicycle first thing in the morning in the summer and riding down to the beach, and we stayed there all day. 7th Street is where Crystal Lake Elementary is located. Right at the end of 7th Street was the 7th Street sliding hill, and that had rope tows and it had a ski lift. We went skiing and sliding there all the time, and it was all free. It was run by the community. But it really was one of those day after day, a huge play session. My dad taught me to ski there, and that was probably when I was 7 or 8. In 1970, my dad started the ski team. And the racing was very, very different, but it was all the same sport. It's evolved over the last 20, 30 years. And the cool news is Benzie's been involved in it pretty much since the beginning. And we raced against all the other teams that you kind of hear about nowadays, although back then there was only one division. There were only about 20 teams in the entire state. Racing back then was not what it is today. Today, you know, they've got computers and breakaway gates and all that other stuff. Back in those days, we used bamboo, and someone sat at the bottom of the hill and went 1, 2, 3, and when the hand went down the third time, you took off, and they started timing you with a hand timer. There have been other coaches involved since my dad passed away in 1977, but I kind of kept my finger in it all the time. My dad was a teacher out at Benzie. My mom, a librarian right in this library for years. You know, it was a large family, and there were 5 kids. I was in the middle, and I always tell people that being in the middle is the best, which is why I was a middle school teacher for 30 years. And the reason I stayed with middle school the entire time, and the thing I like the most about middle school is that they don't have a cloaking device. Adults all figure out some way to cloak. They hide their true selves. They try to make sure that people don't see the essence of them. Some are better at it than others, but seventh graders, you can still pretty much see who they really are. That part I really liked. I used to think when I was early teaching that you could make a profound impact on a 7th grader. And I realized that as time has gone on, it's harder and harder. When I was a 7th grader growing up, there was black and white TV and Lassie was on it. When I was teaching 7th graders, there was color TV and 50,000 deaths an hour. So the kids are seeing an entirely different world than I saw. And unfortunately, it's a world that makes it hard for them to see the world that I saw, which was simple, and it was the Wonder Years, where you didn't worry about bad things because, again, you were little. Nowadays, you're little, but you see all of it because there's color TV out there and it shows you all the grim parts of life. Benzie County is kind of like a tale of 2 cities. It's the best of places and the worst of places. I would take this over the city life any day. You're not going to get rich here. In fact, you're going to have trouble making a living here. But if you can figure out how to survive up here, there's no better place to be. There's a culture that you can't mimic, you can't copy, can't reproduce, and you won't find it anywhere else but there.